don't know what it happened pastika machine yangu ka. I don't know when it resumed. I don't know what happened to the sound. But before I started, I got feedback from someone. I didn't ask the name, so we can actually restart.
Yeah, let's start again.
Okay. So we are saying we are looking at Ifrs 1, which is first-time adoption of international financial reporting standards. And we are saying first-time adoption of international financial reporting standards that we are referring to as Ifrs 1. It sets out the procedures that an entity must follow when it adopts international financial reporting standards for the first time. So the learning outcomes of this lecture is we want to be able to explain the objectives of Ifrs 1 and to give its overview, and then to explain the importance of it. So there is nothing much that we are going to trouble ourselves concerning this standard, but you realize that it is very critical in the sense that all other standards that we are going to be referring to in this module and in the earlier modules, what it implies is that for any reporting entity to be able to prepare its financial statements according to those standards, it should have followed the procedures laid out in this Ifrs 1, the first-time adoption. So we are saying Ifrs 1 grants limited exemptions from the general requirement to comply with each Ifrs is effective at the end of its first Ifrs reporting period. And we are saying it provides the procedures, the guidelines that a reporting entity must follow when it is adopting Ifrs as the basis for preparing its general purpose financial statements. So before a company makes a statement, you know, there's this compliance statement that is required to be issued by each reporting entity to say the financial statements were prepared in accordance with the International Financial Reporting Standards and probably the regulatory framework of a specific nation. So that compliance statement, which says the financial statements are prepared in compliance with International Financial Reporting Standards. So when the company is adopting that for the first time, it should follow certain procedures, and we are saying the procedures are laid out in the Ifrs 1. And as the part of a history of Ifrs 1, we are saying in September 2001, the agenda to discuss Ifrs 1 was tabled by the International Accounting Standards Board, and by the 31st of July 2002, the exposure draft was issued and published, commencing 31st of October 2002. And in June 2003, Ifrs 1 first-time adoption was issued. It was now a full-fledged standard, and to be applicable to periods beginning on or after the 1st of January 2004. And then the standard got reviewed and amended. And the first amendment was done in June 2005 to reflect the changes that had come with the issuance of Ifrs 6, exploration 4, and evacuation of mineral resources. So you realize that this standard has been amended so many times. Just like all other standards, they are reviewed and they are amended. And Ifrs 1 is amended each time a new standard is issued or revised or amended, so that Ifrs 1 also reflects the changes that would have happened to such standards. So in May 2008, another amendment was done, and this was in line with International Accounting Standard number 27. And then 2008, again, it was amended. So it was amended so many times. In 2010 alone, it was amended 3 times to reflect the changes that would have happened with other standards that affect this standard. So these are other periods to which this standard was amended. And the last amendment that was done was in May 2020. And this was to reflect the changes to do with subsidiary as a first-time adopter of financial reporting standards. And this was to affect periods beginning on or after the 1st of January 2022. So this is the effective date, the 1st of January 2022. So this is the latest publication that first-time adopters must refer to when they want to adopt international financial reporting standards for the first time. Let me accept others. Right. So the definition of a first-time adoption, we're saying a first-time adopter is an entity that for the first time makes an explicit and unreserved statement that its financial statements comply with international financial reporting standards. So this is the compliance statement that I was talking about. Each time financial statements are published, we hear or we see the compliance statement to say these financial statements were prepared in compliance with international financial reporting standards and the regulatory framework. So we are saying a first-time adopter is an entity that for the first time will make this explicit and unreserved statement to say our financial statements have been prepared in compliance with all these international financial reporting standards. And an entity may be a first-time adopter if in the preceding year it prepared international financial reporting, it prepared financial statements for internal management use, as long as these financial statements were not made available to owners of the entity or investors or creditors. So the financial statements might have been prepared following the international financial reporting standards, but as long as they were not issued to the investors or creditors, it means when the entity decides to do so, it will be a first-time adopter, because the financial statements that were prepared, although they were prepared in compliance with the international financial reporting standards, but they were not issued to external users. They were not issued to the investors or to the creditors. I think that's clear. If a set of international financial reporting standards prepared financial statements was for any reason made available to owners or external parties, this I am referring to financial statements that were prepared in compliance with the Ifrs. If for any reason they were made available to the owners or external parties in the preceding year, which means in the previous year, then the entity will already be considered to be on Ifrs. So it will be considered to have adopted during that time, and therefore it will not qualify as a first-time adopter.